United Aircraft Corporation CEO Yuri Slyazer told the Russian news agency TASS that a pre-production batch of about a dozen jets, recently named Su-57s, will be made available to military pilots in advance of final design work. That's expected to be completed in 2019. The plane has got its name like a child after the birth, Air Force Commander-in-Chief Viktor Bondarev told Aboulafia 24 TV channel. Pilots will be learning to operate it. Bondarev called the Su-57 a wonderful machine at an aviation expo last month, and the jet has received an extensive promotional push from Russian state media, Newsweek reported. Richard Aboulafia, vice president of the defense market analysis firm Teal Group, was not buying the hype. The Russians really like talking big, but the cash and technology just don't seem to be there, Aboulafia told USA Today. Russian state media has reported the Su-57's maximum speed at 1,600 miles per hour, which would be slightly more than the F-22 Raptor. Newsweek reported the Su-57's missile. Every country probably wants planes such as this, and we have them, Bondarev said of the Su-57. Aboulafia, however, says Russia must create new technology, particularly engine technology, to reach the specifications it is claiming. Version of this aircraft, he said. They've been trying for quite some time. Quotation mark. Sukhoi T-50 PAK-4, Su-57. A fifth-generation fighter program of the Russian Air Force. The T-50 is the name of the prototype aircraft, though it is unlikely it will be the name for the production aircraft, designed by Sukhoi for the PAK-FA program. The aircraft is a stealthy, single-seat, twin-engine jet fighter, and will be the first operational aircraft in Russian service to use stealth technology. It is a multi-role fighter designed for air superiority and attack roles. The fighter is planned to have super cruise, stealth, super maneuverability, and advanced avionics to overcome the prior generation of fighter aircraft as well as ground and maritime defenses. The PAK-5 is intended to be the successor to the MiG-29 and Su-27 in the Russian Air Force and serve as the basis for the fifth-generation fighter aircraft, FGFA, being co-developed by Sukhoi and Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAL, for the Indian Air Force. The T-50 prototype first flew on January 29, 2010 and the first production aircraft is slated for delivery to the Russian Air Force starting in late 2016 or early 2017. The prototypes and initial production batch will be delivered with the highly upgraded variant of the L-31F used by the Su-27 family's interim engines while a new clean sheet design power plant is currently under development. The aircraft is expected to have a service life of up to 35 years. Sukhoi makes her move? Stealth aircraft require jamming support aircraft to accompany them so they can be stealthy. A stealth fighter is simply a design trend that will burn out, like the 1950s era all missile fighter without a gun did, in another decade or so. Right double quotation mark. It is now clear that the Russian Sukhoi PAK-4 fighter is not to be an all-stealth machine but rather a counter-stealth machine. While it has some stealthy features, just enough, to exploit the per-target detect performance of opposing stealth fighters only equipped with radar, like F-22A, T-50 is also equipped with some decidedly non-stealthy sensors like ALS, and second spherical ball behind the cockpit, to detect attack F-22 outside the radio spectrum. This misread of T-50 has produced some bizarre statements analysis on the PAK-4 from Western stealth fighter proponents, including the electro-optical system, ALS, turret employed on the prototype is likely the Su-35's ALS, and is incompatible with the blow design, as it is a broadband spherical reflector. We can expect to see a faceted glow fairing similar to that designed for the cancelled F-22A Airst, Advanced Airst, in a production PAK-4 configuration. Right double quotation mark. These types of observations by Western stealth fighter proponents are nonsense. The Western argument prefers the Russians to copy the West, with all aspect stealth, to validate the overall F-22 concept, that the Americans have yet again set the design trends for high-visibility military technology. Otherwise, the Western argument will conclude they can't because it's too expensive. The hard facts are that F-22A will never reach supporters' expectations due to basic physics that have nothing to do with program cost. Development. Origins. In the late 1980s, the Soviet Union outlined a need for a next-generation aircraft intended to enter service in the 1990s. The project was designated the I-90, Russian, Istrabital fighter, and required the fighter to have substantial ground attack capabilities and would eventually replace the MiG-29s and Su-27s in frontline tactical aviation service. The subsequent program designed to meet these requirements, the MFI, Russian, Cyrillic letter M, Cyrillic letter F, Cyrillic letter E, Russian, Mnogofunktionalnoy Frontovoy Istriabidial, Mnogofunktionalny Frontovoy Istrabital, multifunctional frontline fighter, resulted in Mikoyan's selection to develop the MiG 1.44. During the mid to late 1990s, the aviation community was tantalized by the impending debut of Russia's first fifth-generation fighter, the Mikoyan MFI. The MFI was developed to counter the threat posed by the ATF program under which the F-22 was created. Mikoyan claims that the MFI's combination of aerodynamic properties, armament and avionics render it superior to any contemporary fighter, including the F-22A. The aircraft rolled out in 1999 is apparently designated MiG 1.44 and is understood to be a demonstrator only. The planned production MFI was referred to as the 1.42. And would have a slightly different air intake design, an internal weapons bay, fared over on the 1.44, and, possibly, cranked delta wings. The 1.44 1.42 is the first Russian fighter to employ a tail-first configuration. Weapons are mostly carried in an internal bay in the center fuselage, fared over on the 1.44. It is believed that the MFI is equipped with the pulse Doppler fire control radar, persistently referred to as No-14. This phased array unit is designed for beyond visual range combat and has the ability to attack 6 targets at a time. Prototype construction began in 1989, and after lengthy ground tests, the 1.44 made its first high-speed run in late 1994. Unfortunately, the program had to be suspended before the 1.44 could become airborne due to ANPK MiG's dire financial problems. The 1.44 remained classified by the Russian Defense Ministry until it was finally publicly unveiled in January 1999. After great delay, the 1.44 finally made its brief but important first flight in January 2001. The future of the MFI remains unclear, and the line between it and the 1.44 remains equally blurred. It seems that the MFI program was abandoned. The Russian Air Forces officially selected the new Sukhoi Pak-4 as its new fifth-generation fighter.